Isolation day 73, Saturday the 30th of May. I hope you're all well and you're looking after yourselves. The weather in the UK has been stunning, although I have been pretty much locked in here because it's month end. So I have plenty of work to get on with to prepare for month end, and I've been doing that unfortunately. So although I've got a little bit of colour, that's probably the not as much as I could have had. What I wanted to do today, because this is the penultimate day to getting to 3 weeks, is just have a bit of an overview really. Prior to doing that, I didn't want to go into any more huge detail about figures until I give you a full overview tomorrow. After 2 weeks, and obviously if you've watched the video you've seen the results, I was quite honestly astounded by how much my insulin requirement had dropped. So my insulin sensitivity had increased and my resistance had dropped. This week, I think, as with all diets, after a few weeks of sticking to the regimen, you become a little less persistent, let's say, or a little less on point. And I think this week I've had a few instances where I've kind of judged carbs. So we've put together a meal and it will be for 2 or 3 people, and I'll say, well, okay, I'll take a third of that. But that never really works out ideally accurate for me. So I've learned a few lessons. I think what I need to do is make sure that I count all of the carbs, make sure I count all of the weights, just to be as accurate as possible. Other problems that I faced this week. Well, yesterday I had my first Starbucks coffee, which was a soya coffee. First one in, well, since I wasn't in isolation and I was on keto. And yes, I completely appreciate the fact that soya is not part of the mastering diabetes process. But what I would say is I have very few vices, okay? I drink, 2 seconds. This is 0 carb wine. I have maybe a bottle of that every couple of weeks, okay? Other than that, I don't really drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do anything like that. So, you know what? If I want a coffee every once in a while, I'm not going to kill myself over doing it. Now, the only problem with that was I researched how much the carbs were. I researched how much the fat was. I made sure that my fat intake that day wasn't over the recommended amount, even with the coffee. So I didn't have a huge coffee. I had a medium-sized coffee, okay? Now, it still caused me a bit of a problem. Later on in the night, I think, and this is the problem, because without knowledge, I just don't know. So I'm thinking that it affected my blood sugars overnight. Do I know that categorically? No. Have I experienced that before? No. So that's the only conclusion I can come to. And what I'm also learning now in my 3rd week is what I do like and what I don't like. Food-wise, I mean. I know that I'm not a fan of courgette, okay? Now, I've had courgette 2 or 3 times, and to be honest, I'd rather not. I just think it's stodgy and it's just not particularly nice. It's not nice in a salad. Now other people I'm sure other people will disagree with me, but maybe I'm just not eating it in the right fashion. But I know that I don't like any of the meals that's in the Mastering Diabetes book in relation to when it has courgette in it. That's just the way it is. So I have to find alternatives. What I do like, and what I have been experimenting with, is snacks this week. So we've done chickpeas with paprika. We've had kale with nutritional yeast. We've had beetroot that's been roasted. And we've also had parsnip that's been roasted. All of those things are crunchy. All of them are nice to eat. I'm finding that actually as an alternative to other snacks that I would have had under keto, which would have been things like pork scratchings, for instance, that's a good example, or nuts all of the time, and cheese, I'm not doing that now. So I'm having these as an alternative. That's the good part. Tomorrow, I want to give you a full overview of my 3-week figures. Yes, my bloods have been a bit haphazard today, but other than that, I'm still experiencing lows. I've actually had a high today, a significant high, which is a bit worrying, but I'll tell you a bit more about that tomorrow. I hope you're looking after yourselves and you enjoyed the good weather in the UK. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, okay? Have a good night.